Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a pretty ropey-ish rack. It's balanced, but it's a long way from a bingo, and it's slightly vowel heavy. But I should be able to play my way through it. I've got a play of U would leave an okay rack leave of GINO. Can't see anywhere great for that, or anywhere at all. Well, I guess just hooking the U onto nuddy. I've got the ING ending. Does that assist? Not sure it does. Well, maybe I should contemplate changing. What about a play through this D, getting my Y or G? Tripled. Now, I can play guying, which isn't great because of the rack leave, but it's 20... Whoops. I most certainly cannot play guying. So do I have any sensible play here? Well, I guess I could play dingo. Only 14 points, keeping YOU. That's not very good. Dungy, keeping 3 vowels. This is all looking pretty ropey. I'm going to change. And there may be an argument for keeping IN, but I'm changing the lot. Well, through an E, I would have blindest. I can't see anything through this U. Do I have something onto the Y? Well, possibly. I've got the LY ending and the ILY ending. My B can't go either side of the U, so I'm not going to be able to score particularly well with it. I think it was a close call last turn in respect of keeping IN or ING, but with no ES or blank on the rack, I went for the greater turnover. Now, opponent has provided a nice spot for my B, so I can play blind here, and although it takes an S, I have an S, so I'm happy to open up column 15. Well, I do get an E, but F, U and W, a dreadful trio of tiles. I'm going to struggle to play off, well, certainly struggle to play off 3 of them. It might be an effort to play off 2. And I can't see an easy way of utilising this S hook for blind. Just considering if I have a 6-letter play ending in S and I can't see one. My W can go in front of AI, but I'm certainly looking to play off 2 of FU and W. So I could play few above Naoi, keeping suit. Can I do any better? I would have wetsuit onto a T. I've got yuffed, but that doesn't score very much. So, few for 25. I have orgites and wands is good, so I have that in row I. I also have it in row D because cell is good, and in fact, I've got it in row D making eel and sigh. So I won't be using the blind hook this turn. And orgites also plays 1 square to the right in row I, because Wayne and owls are both good. Orgites does not have an anagram. And I can't see any 8s with the floaters on the board, which I think comprise simply the D of blind and the second D of nuddy. Well, I guess the Y as well. So close to you Gary's, but I don't have it. Slightly sad day today. I learnt that we're going to be losing 29 words from the next word list update. Always a sad moment when you lose a word. Obviously not if the words have been included as a result of lexicographer error, but I haven't heard yet as to the reasons for their removal. Now, my Orgite spot has been blocked by Mako. Fortunately, row I hasn't. Can't see a new bingo with the A or with the M. So, let's lighten up the mood and get the party started with Orgites. Bang! Pretty good. I have perches. Nowhere for that in column 15, which is annoying. Or, well, I was going to say, does blind take an E, but it doesn't. I was confusing it with blend. So, is there somewhere for perches? K takes nothing in front. I don't think perches has an anagram. Another D, all these floating Ds on the board. But I can't see a bingo with this rack plus a D. Preaches through an A. There's a floating I. Not seeing anything through that. Well, what a shame. I thought I was off to the races with this draw. But I'm not. Just checking to make sure it doesn't run over the top of O. Wow, and it nearly does. Well, it nearly does if Kun were good, and it's not. Eel and Ray are. Okay, so it certainly doesn't go there. Blind does only take an S. I don't have that. Owls only takes a T. I don't have one, so I don't have a bingo. And it doesn't run under the bottom of Orgite, so that is a real shame. How about playing in column 15? What about Petches? Might be good. It's not, it's just Pecs. So I have cheaps in this spot, and I'm inclined to go with it, because look at the score, 51 points. The only way I could score more than that would be a play in column 15, which gets one of my high-scoring tiles on this double letter square, and uses most of my high-scoring tiles. 14 minutes on my clock. So I have sphere. No, I'm just not seeing anything else. So I'm going with cheaps for 51. Great, I draw the Q with the U. I can see quit and quirt on my rack. I've got a 70-point lead. Obviously that would all vanish if my opponent were to bingo. Not immediately seeing anywhere for quirt. Wow, he does bingo, so just 10 points between us. I saw something. I saw the A of Mako. So I have quart through that, which is quite nice. Sorts all of the problems out with my rack. Is there anything else on the board? Because that only scores 28 points. Onto an E, I would have Cirque, and I think this is going to score more. Yep, 34 points. Is there something even better? Wow, I thought I had a play across from this D, a play of... Well, I have quit, but I am not good, and I don't have any other vowels, so there isn't a play in that spot. Quirt doesn't play in row D, so I'm going with Cirque in this spot. Not good, and my lead is just 50 points. Only the one vowel. One can't expect a bingo-y rack every turn, but when you get the non-bingo-y tiles, it's always nice to have some vowels to go with them, because then you're pretty confident of keeping the score rolling along. However, I was just about to contemplate playing Frab in row D. Opponent's taken that out. Fortunately scored just 18 points. So I still lead. Still both blanks out there. I'm not in a hurry to play my X, because if I draw vowels I may be able to score more with it than I can right now. However, having said that, I do have fixed down here for 30 points and an OK rack leave. I'm hanging on to my precious vowel, and these tiles go together reasonably well. Fixed doesn't give anything away, it doesn't take anything after it, it doesn't place a vowel next to any premium squares, it takes out a premium square. Now I could play Fart, that's 30 points. I could play Fart across here. 42 points and keeping the X, but BGX, a pretty ropey combo. But 42 points. How much was fixed? Only 30, so this is 12 more points. Is BGX 12 worse than Grab? Probably pretty close, actually. And I am averse to bad rack leaves. I know I can play through this rack leave, so I'm happy to sacrifice 12 points. Especially with there being no obvious good X spots on the board. 11 minutes on my clock. So I also have facts for 32 points. I think this is the best play I've seen. I'm going with it. Okay, and although I duplicate the A, I do only have 2 vowels, so actually duplicate A is not unwelcome. And I have Jab and Jag and Jagra and Jata, so I do have a choice of plays on my rack. No guarantee any of them will play on the board. But the board's quite tight. And look at that, Fixed did actually block the S and E of Indoor C. So opponents restricted to rows M and N, or playing through the T. And there's also bingo lanes down from the Ds in blinds and nuddy. So a tight board, but not a totally tight one. And if opponent's got both vowels, both blanks, I'm sure he'll feel confident of getting a bingo down. The remaining tile's pretty bingo-y. Look at this, almost every high-scoring tile has been played. I guess the best I can hope for is that my opponent has got an unbalanced rack, maybe with 5 O's. So all I've really seen is Jata through the T of Fixed, but it doesn't score very much, and it opens up a new bingo lane, which is a bit irksome. Cirque took out row D, which was slightly hot for a non-bingo play, and created nothing. Row A available for bingos. Wow. Opponent bingos, burns a blank, moves into a 10-point lead. But look at this. Do I have the opportunity to get my J tripled twice? I do. I can play Jar. I can play Jar and Anne and Joe. would it be better to play a 5-letter play beginning with Joe? Well, I don't think so. I can't see one, but it's not going to score more. It might sort the rack out a bit better, though. 52 points. What a welcome sight when there's only 10 points between us. Can I do any better? I have Taj and Raj. They don't play. I definitely need to get my J tripled. What about a play in row O? Something N, J, blah, blah, blah. Or something, 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 NJ. Not seeing anything. Ganja. I have, but it doesn't get tripled. I'm going with Jar. Wow, pretty fortunate pickup. That looks fairly balanced. I've got the ABLE ending. Can't see a 7 with this rack. What about the floating O of devotion? And what about a triple triple? Even as a non-bingo, that would score a lot. Don't think there's one here. If I had a D, I would have Brangled. So this feels close, but not close enough. Now my B and G can go after Joe. So do I have a 3 or 4 letter play in column 12 to keep the scoring going? Possibly not. I think this I is problematic. Only my T goes after it. And then I can't play. Then, well, an E could go after Joe. So I could play bait. And that would be quite good because it would disturb row O. I could play Brangle just as a 7. A non-bingo 7, but it takes an S hook and a D hook, and there's an S and a blank to come. Great, just 15 points for my opponent. But that suggests to me that he might have a pretty decent 5-letter set, which makes it more imperative, I think, to make this play. 32 points. It's taking out the O and T. It's seriously interfering with row O. It's creating a new bingo lane in column 13, but only for a massive overlap. Just checking all these words are good, and they are. I'm going with this. Wow, another nice pickup. I kept 3 consonants, I think, and this is a balanced rack. I don't think beta is good, so I don't have any hooks for that. Joe takes a Y. All the Y's have gone. Just W, Z and H to come in terms of the high scoring tiles. And my lead is 50 points. And Joe takes an S in front. That's unlikely to score very much. So what about a play in row O ending A-N? Well, I have Prolan, keeping Jen. That's not bad. 21 points, turning over a lot of tiles, with just 14 tiles in the bag. I'd quite like to exhaust the bag as quickly as possible to minimise my opponent's chances of bingoing. Row A, quite a hot lane, given there's still 2 eyes out there and the tiles are so bingo-y. It's quite unusual to have such a bingo-y set at the end. I'm not sure I can do terribly much about that, because I think I need to keep scoring. 60 points isn't enough for my opponent to have a bingo to win. Column 13, pretty hot. That could be a 5-letter play worth 50 points. Premium tile on the double letter square, A or S after it. Not a play I can make. Although I could play Prog. 19 points. So one nice thing about this rack is that I should be able to get about 20 points, either with Prolan or Prog. And Prog would take out the floating D of blinds. I hope I'm not overlooking a bingo here. There is this floating E of indoor C. So I could play Air Long. 20 points, turning over a lot of tiles. Wow, opponent changes 2. He must be so close to a bingo. What to do? I guess I can assume he's got the blank. Just checking the vowel situation. 8 out of 21. So, not quite as balanced and bingo-y as it was. Row O isn't a bingo lane. So, I don't need to prioritise taking that out. I might as well leave it for myself to score from. Airlong has the demerit that it plays all of my vowels, which I don't want to do. 7 minutes on my clock. So Prolan, well, Prolan does interfere with a bingo lane. It interferes with bingos that begin with the S after indoor C. I'm keeping a balanced rack. This is going to survive pretty much anything. I'm stopping my opponent scoring a double-double. Let me just make sure I haven't got a, triple-triple. No, none of my tiles go after bait, so I'm not missing out on a triple-triple. Prolan 424, I'm going with this. Pretty good. Balanced. And the remaining tiles now looking less bingo-y. I've drawn the S, so I guess my opponent has the blank. But bingo lanes, there's just the 3 of them, I think. The E of indoor C, the D of blinds, and the C of cheaps. So they're very specific. In that the E, D, and C have to be in the exact position in the bingo. But opponent could score well off the Z. My lead just 90 points. I myself do not have a bingo with this rack, despite its balancedness. I do have a scoring tile in the W. Now, what about that play I was thinking about down in column 13? I have Weens for nearly 40 points. That might just do the job. I have Ungui on my rack, and Unguis and Wenges. Yeah. Opponent had the Z, which is good. He's only scored 26 points. Remaining tiles non-bingo. He's 7 tiles in the bag, and I'll be drawing 5 of them, which is really good. And I may score enough from Weens to outrun my opponent. Am I missing a better spot? I'm keeping a vowel, which is good. 38 points is good. I don't have an A, so I can't score off Joe as well. I'm not setting up anything massive. I'm interrupting the D. I think this is all good. I'm going with this. Pretty grim. And just 2 tiles in the bag. Not great tiles, but there could be a bingo there. Am I far enough ahead to outrun my opponent? If opponent bingos, he'll be drawing 2 tiles. So his scoring potential will be limited. But my scoring potential is going to be limited, and my opponent, if he goes out in 2 from this position, would get points from me on countback. And I note that my opponent's H can go next to the E of Weens. He may be able to set something up which is difficult for me to block. Now, I was just thinking I could have played NUs, but Weens is better because the W is on a double letter square. So 6 minutes on my clock, 8 on my opponent's. I haven't seen a single candidate play for me. What about a play in row N? Putting my O above the P. And I have in mind to try and go out in 2. I have Orgiac in row A if I wanted to take out row A. It doesn't score very much, but I think it would help me go out in 2, but not guarantee it. I would have RG, so I would have Erg. And I would have Erg from the E of Weens if opponent doesn't block it, so there's potential for an out in 2 there. I've got an I, but I can't see a bingo ending IC. So just not seeing very much. Orgiac scores very little. Now, I think the best my opponent can do in column 14 would be OH, but then he would be revealing the entirety of his rack because he'd be emptying the bag. I could play Gore in that spot. I'm just looking for anywhere to score. I'm not advocating that as a great play. I've got Org and Oof. Org and Zo. I have aggro and op. I think that's the word I was hoping to find. A word, 5-letter play ending in O. 24 points and only leaving 2 1-pointers on my rack, so opponent would only get 4 points of count back. But is opponent about to hit me with a bingo? These letters don't look particularly promising. He spent a while looking for a bingo, I think. But he doesn't have an I. For an IC ending, you'd have to burn the blank. Or maybe he's spotted a bingo, but has worked out that if he plays it, it guarantees that he'll lose. So maybe he's looking to make a play and then bingo out. It could be. He has emptied the bag. Only 12 points, and that could be my salvation. He's only got 1-pointers on his rack, and he's only got 6 points in total on his rack. So if I play aggro for 24, I will be on 412. I'll be 108 ahead. Opponent would get 4 on count back. He'd need to score 104 to draw. Not going to happen with 6 points on your rack. Aggro for 24. I didn't spend any time looking to see if opponent had a bingo ending in C. Sometimes when you see the finishing post, you go for it, and I think probably that's slightly more true of these videos. I think maybe in a real life tournament I would have spent a while seeing if opponent had a bingo and then blocking it, but I don't think that makes for fabulous viewing, and aggro certainly guarantees the win. So if opponent doesn't bingo, can I go out with IR? And I may not be able to, which would be remiss. I have rich. Do I have a second out? Not that I've seen so far. Well, I have rig, so yeah. Aggro guaranteed me the out in 2. So rig for 8 and rich for 11. Opponent's got 4 minutes to find his bingo. He's got at Lattles on his rack, nowhere for it. He's created a new bingo lane with the play of OH for bingos ending in A or A something. So he may have a bingo here. He has Talats, that doesn't play, and at Lattles, which I mentioned. Wow, so many vowels go in front of CH. But I'm not seeing a bingo ending in 1. So blank as an A, not seeing anything there. E, no, I, O, and U. So I'm not seeing it. I guess you'd need to run through the blank as a consonant as well. because there could be a play with 5 consonants ending with A. But that's my opponent's business, not mine, and I don't think there is one there. And even if there is, it won't win. So 3 minutes on my opponent's clock. Still looking for further spots for RI. Not seeing anything. Well, Ray and so there was a third spot. Opponent gets 15. He doesn't provide anywhere new for me. So I have Rich for 11. And the final score, 319 for my opponent, 429 for me, a winning margin of 110 points. So a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first. It was my opponent to go first. He played Nuddy. And now, well, Goonie certainly looks better than Changing, despite IU being bad. It's certainly not worth minus 31 points. And Yogi as well, G7. Just above the first 3 tiles of Nuddy. So I didn't really get into gear at the beginning of this game. I think Changing was definitely suboptimal. Opponent plays Naoi. And now I have Blind, which I think was a fairly obvious play. Wow, opponent has an S. Plays O. And now I have Few for 33, and I still think that's the play, although, look at this, Swift was available for 42 points. But Suit is not 9 points better than EU. Well, it might actually be, but even if it is, it's not going to be far away from that, and Suit is definitely more a better rack lead than EU. So in terms of close rack leads, I prefer the moves with the better one. Opponent plays, I play Few, opponent plays Mako. And now, wow, there was Gormius through the M. I didn't see that. I played Orgites for 72, 4 fewer points. Probably Gormius to better play. Opponent plays Day. I have Purchase, nowhere for it, and I played Cheaps. Opponent has Indoor C, which was a good spot. Ordinese also available. 80 points? Good grief, where's that? Wow, Quitch for 80. That is a huge score. I didn't see that. And it's possible I wouldn't have thought it was good even if I had, but wow, 80 points on offer. Well done if you spotted that. I was pretty pleased with Cirque, but I needed to look 1 row higher. Opponent's rack plays Vav, and now I dallied between playing Fixed and Fart, which doesn't appear on this list, so maybe there's some censor in the ISC word list. I don't think so. Maybe Fart isn't just as good as I thought it was. Or maybe Wayner isn't good. Maybe that's it. So I play Fixed. Opponent plays Devotion. Enzutic also available onto the C. And now it's close. I actually trail by 9 points. But I have Jar for 52. Opponent has Rim. So he played Rim from this rack. Okay, so he wasn't keeping a 5-letter powerhouse. He was just scoring and balancing. Brangle, don't like that, stopping 1 square short of column 15. Same with Brantle. But Tangler, different proposition. 30 points. Only setting up an E and an R as end hooks. So Bait I think is a better player that actually scores more than Tangler. Opponent plays... Whoa, let's back this up. Opponent plays Ritz. Or does he change? Yeah, maybe this was it. He changed. He didn't play Ritz, he changed. Goodness knows what he changed. My move, I play Prolan. I'm playing this game straight in from work. I normally play at the weekends, and next weekend, Sunday, is the Ilkwood tournament, so I'm playing this during the week, so I've come in all day from work and I'm switching straight to Scrabble mode, so if I'm a little less coherent than normal, that'll be the reason. So I play Prolan, opponent plays Ritz, and I play Weens, and I could have played Gnaus in the same spot. Nice play. Keeping double E, which would have been worth keeping since there are no E's and there's a vowel shortage. Go, not obviously better. Now, here we go. This was towards the end of the game. Opponent has to bingo to have a chance of winning. Did he have a bingo here? No, he doesn't. And look at this. Prolan blocked Charlotte. So Prolan did do its job. Opponent plays O, creating a new bingo lane. Gorgia B6. Gorgia, Itch and AI, quite nice. But slightly dangerous in terms of opening up row A. So I play aggro for 24, and I still like that. And opponent's final rack. No bingo, unfortunately for him. And finally, I go out with Rich. So, great game. Quite tight at the beginning, and I got off to a fairly hesitant start, changing when I felt that it probably wasn't optimal, and it wasn't. And then quite a tight battle between the two of us, and I think just after the middle of the game, my opponent had a slender lead of 10 points. But then I was able to somehow, well, I guess it was the play of Jar, and then I just put together a string of moves. I don't think I bingoed to establish a 100-point lead from being behind. I think I just put together a succession of good scores, and opponent was struggling with his rack and made a few plays which didn't score very much. And that's resulted in a 100-point winning margin. So good to put together a string of wins. I hope you enjoyed tonight's game, and I will see you next time.